Unsung heroes, though. I think there was quite a few in this game, man. I
Yeah.
really think there were some good ones to choose from. Let's go back and forth until we kind of run out of unsung heroes in this
Sure.
game. You go first.
And I don't want to do it in like order because I think
Mhm.
that if they're an unsung hero, they played a huge role in a certain moment that I
Yeah,
think really changed the dynamic of the game. And
yeah,
one this and I could also say, Jesse, that at certain points in these games, maybe some of these players didn't play well. So they could have been part of the problem at certain points, but then they played a big role that really changed the momentum of the game. And I want to bring up one right off the jump who I think has situated themselves to be a starter moving forward and potentially even re-sign for next year. And to me, that's John Feliciano. I think
Mm,
that some of his blocks in the running game, this is one time where we usually see a lot of the success in the running game going towards the left side on the outside. That wasn't the case in this. The two big rushes that we saw from CMC that ended up touchdowns were down the middle, and especially on that game-winning touchdown run, John Feliciano put together a block that just made it so easy for Christian McCaffrey to score. And I think that more times when I see John Feliciano, he's doing something great, Jesse, than making a mistake. Can't say that necessarily for Spencer Burford. So to me, I think that John Feliciano played a huge game, and we saw we won the game because he was potentially because he was in there.
yeah, I mean, most certainly. I think playing Feliciano was the right decision, first and foremost. Talked about it leading into that game, and I'm glad that that's the decision that they went with. I think there's two really obvious ones, but I'll try to avoid them for a minute. And I'm going to go with Conley. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's been on the roster, off the roster, on the practice squad, what have you. Man, there were a couple moments in that game where he had to make some plays, and he did. And for a guy that hasn't really been active all season long and around all season long, to make a play on the final drive and make, a play or two earlier in that game, I think that's big. And I think that he fits exactly what the 49ers want to do. I think he's a willing blocker. And I just think that he came up big when they needed him most as well. There's also another wide receiver that I think is an obvious one, but before we get to him, I have to say, very impressed with what Conley was able to do in that game, and I think his moments, although there weren't many of them, they were very, very important and crucial when he did come through. So very happy for him and seeing him come up big when they needed him as well.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, his catch on the game-winning drive was
Mhm.
huge, right? Obviously, moving the ball, great throw by Brock, but ultimately, if he's not ready for that route, and it was a timing route, Jesse. Usually, people that don't get as many reps and are
Yeah,
just thrown in, kind of, they're not known to those. We can see those when we saw earlier Ray running the wrong route. Another guy that doesn't get a lot of opportunity as a wide receiver in the offense. Chris Conley going out, running the right route with the right timing, obviously played a big role in that. I'm gonna, this one might be a little bit of a stretch. I think he obviously gets a lot of praise, but I think there was a segment of time. I think it was in the first half, Jesse, where Diamador Lenore kind of woke up this defense, and where the defense was kind of getting pushed around a little bit. Demo, one of the smallest guys on the defense,
yeah,
and basically bodied up and with that tackle of Jordan Love on the sideline, and then not backing down from the offensive linemen that were getting in his face. Come on, man, and double his weight and stuff, trying to punk him, and he was like, "Nah, you're not gonna do that." And then coming back at the next play, and making the play that he made as well. I think stuff like that kind of invigorated the defense and also allowed this 49ers team to kind of realize, hey man, we are that dude. We are the 49ers. People don't push us around. And I think that was huge. Obviously I think there was ups and downs with the defense, but it was nice. I think that got the fans back into the game. It got like, me watching at home was like, hell yeah, like this is the squad we've been looking for, and I think that probably reverberated throughout the team. So I want to give him his props. Obviously, I don't think they threw the ball at him that much, and I don't think he had necessarily a big game stats wise, but that little run I think played a big role for the defense and momentum.
Absolutely. He was one of the 2 obvious ones for me. I mean, for as small as he is, the way that he hits, I mean, pure thumper, and his versatility all season long really has been he might be the most underrated 49er. He really might be. I mean, he's that good, and his versatility has gone a long way in helping this defense become what it has down the final stretch after that bye week. So shout out to Demo. Definitely deserves it. Balled out. The other obvious one is Jawan Jennings. I mean, how listen, big catch after big catch, big block after big block. I can't say enough good things. And for a guy who hadn't played in about a month, coming off of a concussion, it's like you almost forget how important he is to this team. Juwan Jennings, man, I talk about Conley being a 49er. Juwan Jennings embodies all of the things that the San Francisco 49er players we expect to embody. Talk about blocking. I mean, he's an elite blocker as a wide receiver, great hands at the catch point in traffic. I know that he has his drops here or there, concentration drops, but when you need a big play, you can count on third and Jawan to make that big play. And going up, climbing up, great throw by Purdy, the layered throw, but climbing up and going and get that pass as well, also a great catch. Jawan Jennings, I mean, probably the unsung hero, really. If we had to choose just one, he's the one. Like
Sure.
he's the one. Fantastic game by Jawan Jennings, and it's unfortunate because I think Jawan Jennings is likely not going to be a 49er next year. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong, but if this is his final run with the team, man, he's really made his mark with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, and I mean he's probably pricing himself out of what the 49ers could actually, get from it. I don't think he's not going to be a 49er because the 49ers don't want him back. He's not going to be a 49er because they can't afford him, because
Yeah,
he's completely outplayed his draft position and has, what team doesn't want a Juwan Jennings on their roster, right? A receiver that can do everything that he does. And what makes it even more impressive, you kind of alluded to it, to not miss it. There's one thing to not play that long after a concussion, come in and play well. There's another thing to come in and then have to play a role that you weren't planning on playing as the number 2 option, right? Like he came in obviously in that scheme of things. He's usually 4th, 5th, probably 5th option when it comes to offense. Third or 4th option when it comes to pass catching. Probably 4th behind, a Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. Debo going out so early, now all of a sudden it intensifies. Like you can't make those mistakes, right? You can't hide in the corner. Like you have to. Now they're counting on you, and for him to come up and show zero rust, Jesse, I think is a testament to his preparation, his talent, his work ethic, and what we would not be in the NFC Championship game without Juwan Jennings playing that game. I don't think even if Debo was, that's probably too much of a stretch. But I'm saying he was extremely important, and I think that absolutely he deserves all the praises and all the flowers.